that red and white sign.
No, I don't either.
Well, so what? You're not allowed to have a visitor come over from town or something?
I wonder if that means like you can't come over here and picnic.
Well, I'm sure it does mean that too, or includes that, but I've never seen where they said only registered campers beyond this point. Man, it's not full at all. See, like last year was like this, and it started filling up.
Yeah. It's working hard to give us somewhere soft to lay tonight. Thank you.
Okay, so tonight's supper is here. Show the burgers here. These are the black and blue burgers.
Black and blue, and we sauteed mushrooms.
Here, let me zoom up on that.
Cheese.
Yeah, the only reason we got the black and blue burgers was because Food City didn't have the portobello mushroom burgers, so we bought mushrooms. Show. Please.
Mine's got mayonnaise, so you can't.
Yeah, they got mayonnaise. They got portobello mushrooms on them.
And then our zucchini that we always make camping.
Yeah, and tomorrow night we're going to try asparagus on the Blackstone with steak. So, and of course the spicy sweet chili Doritos. That is another camping tradition of ours.
Yes.
Okay, so you see our tent. If you see that little orange canopy back out in behind us, that is Roy and Pam. And they are from Gainesboro, Tennessee. We were coming back from the store earlier. We'd gone down to get us an ice cream cone down at the camp store. As we got out, she waved and said, "Hello, we're subscribers." So I got to talk to them for a few minutes. Went over there and met them. So that's our third set of subscribers just since last night. So we're going to ride through the cove here in just a few minutes, and trying to get everything finished. Final touches put on our setting up camp first, because it'll probably be dark when we get back. Now, that little 2-gallon jug there, that's a handy thing. That was $2.99 at Walmart a couple of years ago, probably about $8 now, but a few years ago, $2.99. That's our little hand washing station. So, we have just finished up supper, finished up our hamburgers. What'd you think of the black and blue burgers?
Mine was good. Mine was good.
Mine was pretty good. The black part is the black pepper. I didn't care for that black pepper taste in my hamburger. Blue cheese was great, but I wish they had the portobellos like they usually do. They have those specialty burgers that's already made up, and I usually like the portobello mushroom one.
Yeah.
So, but no rain so far. Started clouding up earlier, but it's cleared on back out. So it looks like we're out of the woods. Oh, technically we're in the woods, but I mean, as far as rain goes. One thing I want to share with y'all, this is an invaluable tool to bring camping with you. And it's this. It's a little, about a 3-foot section of water hose with the top end that you screw it on attached. You'll need this if you're going to wash off and bathe like we do. If you're going to make your own homemade shower structure and you're going to need to fill up 5-gallon buckets of water, the way they've got the sink over there, you can't get a 5-gallon bucket in it. The way the nozzle is, but you can screw this onto it and set your buckets on the ground. I learned that after a really hard trip of trying to get a 5-gallon bucket in that little sink. And only been able to get maybe that much water in the bottom. Just screw this on the nozzle, turn it on, you can fill up all the buckets you want.
Yeah, so we just cut an old hose
up.
up.
Just found an old hose laying around the house that had a split in it further down. This 3-foot section here is good. That's all you need.
Yep.
So just wanted to throw that in there if you're going to shower like we do. Now if you're going over to Townsend, there's places over there to let you buy a shower.
Or if you're just filling up water to take back to your
If you're going to need
campsite.
5-gallon buckets of water, you ain't going to get a 5-gallon bucket in that sink. Bring you a piece of hose with you.
Yep.
So that solves that problem. Just wanted to, actually today, told y'all about Roy and Pam over here from Gainesboro, Tennessee. Some more subscribers. We met now 6 subscribers. 2 or 4 in Gatlinburg last night, 2 couples and then them. And they said they watch us every night. That's an honor to us. I told them, I said, they must not be much on TV then. But no, I do appreciate people that actually find our channel worth watching, especially every night. But I guess they said something about they were watching like the shower thing. They said we try to do it how Derek did it. They actually have a pretty nice structure themselves. I like it. It's bigger than the ones you usually see. It's not like mine. It's actually one you buy, but I like theirs. I'm gonna look into them, to be honest with you. But so if we're gonna do tips from Derek on camping, I'm no expert, but this here I found out how valuable this little piece of hose is for getting water. So if you got a campground that you've got a water pump near your site.
Yeah, we don't have a water pump near ours.
We don't have a water pump. I'm not even sure. There used to be one down there. I don't know if it's even still there.
Yeah, so we're that close to the bathroom, and then there's a sink over there on the side.
Yeah.
And that's where he screws it onto it at.
Yeah, on the side where that gentleman's at. He's using it now. You can get small pitchers and stuff under it, but you can't get a 5-gallon bucket in it. So if you need a lot of water, bring you a hose with you.
Yep.
Okay, Saturday morning, and Shaughnessy is
embarrassingly trying to get ready.
getting ready. We're going to make an early morning drive through the loop because we have a subscriber wanting to come meet us here at the campsite at about 10. So we have to get an early start through the loop this morning in order to be back. So as you can see, our campsite's a mess, but
it's lived in.
It's lived in, yeah.
That's what people say if their house is a mess.
So Shaughnessy's got her little makeup table here and everything. It's called a tailgate in my truck. So.
My little vanity.
Yeah. But the campground, which was mostly empty when we got here, is pretty much filled up now, hasn't it? And again, those people back through there with the orange covering there and the tent that kind of looks like a teepee sort of. That thing's very roomy. They took us back there and showed us the inside of that yesterday. It's got a lot of floor space in it. I like that. But that's Roy and Pam. They from Gainesboro, Tennessee, and they subscribed. They actually joined our live the other night when we went live from Gatlinburg. Alright, I'm going to show y'all how to aggravate a possessive little Yorkie. He does not like for me to harass him when he's around his food. Come here, Riviere. Can I have some of your food? Can I have your food? I'm going to get your food. Can I not have it? Okay, it's about 12 minutes after 4 on Saturday, and that's a lot of asparagus for 2 people. That's my first observation.
Well, I got just one bunch at the grocery store.
Yeah, we did just get one bunch. That looks like a lot more than it looked like in a bunch, I tell you. But anyway, I'm getting ready to grill some steaks. Steak's probably not going to be as good tonight because I forgot my Worcestershire sauce at home. Did not have any at the camp store.
We actually forgot all of our seasoning and had to buy.
Yeah, we had to buy. We forgot our hickory grilled seasoning, which you just don't do. That's like a sin.
Part of camping.
Yeah, to forget that. But anyway, we did buy some steak seasoning and some garlic powder at Food City. So.
And these are actually little steaks for the dogs.
Yes, those are fat-free or very little fat, very lean cuts of little steak medallions for the dogs. No seasoning on those.
Yeah.
So we hate to grill and eat in front of them and them just not get anything but dog food. So Anyway.
The back was hurting before we came, but it's hurting a whole lot worse today. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, our visitor earlier, Mr. Ledbetter, he's 83 and he got around like he's 40. And
I'm
Saucy's
hobbling
limping around
around
like she's 80. So.
It was bad.
Yeah, that lady over there I was just waving at. That is Pam, ones we met yesterday, our subscribers. Her and her husband were very sweet. They surprised us with a gift card to the Trailhead Steakhouse.
We're excited about that.
They must have seen our review and knew we liked that, and they did not have to do that. That was very sweet and very generous.
Yeah.
And just met those fine folks yesterday, and we appreciate them doing that. Okay, got the steaks on now. I really feel like these are going to be disappointing tonight. They are missing meat tenderizer and Worcestershire sauce, and I don't think I ever make steaks without meat tenderizer. They usually use some kind of wet marinade like a Worcestershire, and again, just really left everything at home. So they basically just have steak seasoning and garlic powder on them. Hoping for the best. Alright, turn the steaks over one time. She's got some water heating up there too. They look decent, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so the plates are ready. And we got asparagus on the Blackstone, mushrooms. She only ate one hamburger last night, so we have one hamburger bun left. So there's attempted garlic bread and ribeye steak.
Our delicious steaks.
Father, we're thankful for this day, for this trip that you've given us together, for the good weather, and just for the opportunity to meet new people this week, and just pray that you bless each and every one of them. And we thank you for this food that you've set before us. We ask that you would bless it to our bodies and us to your service. In Jesus' name. Okay, folks, on our Cage Cove video, we were given some do's and don'ts. We have another don't, and that's don't lose track of your child. We just had a little girl wander over here into our sight.
Open the screen if all the way it's not quite open.
Yeah, it looks okay right here.
Oh.
Make sure. We just had a little girl wander into this sight. What would you say, 2 or 3 years old at most?
Yeah.
And said she didn't know where her mama was. So you basically took her and helped her find her mom, who was in the campsite across the street.
Yes, it's actually the one over from us, but they're down in somebody else's campsite.
But this little girl's wandering around the campground by herself.
Yeah.
And
second time that I've helped somebody find their campsite. Remember the older lady?
Yeah, she was an older lady, but this is a little girl. I don't know how she ended up alone like that, but I mean, you think what could have happened? Meet up the wrong person or a bear or something. A lot of places for somebody to get lost here.
Yeah, that's true.
So keep track of your child, please. Because that's kind of sad in a way. Because she's come over here just as Fred said, "What are y'all doing?" I said, "We're eating. What are you doing?"
And she's like, "I
She said, "I can't find my mommy." I said, "Well, why don't you stay here with us till we see her?" And
I took her by the hand. I said, "Let's go find her."
Okay, and why did the turkey cross the road? And this one's got a little baby. How many of you have ever seen a baby turkey? Well, it just disappeared completely right there. Looks like a little small baby turkey. Okay, day number 2 of our camping trip is coming to an end, so anyway, we're going to sit down over here. And we had a very interesting day today, didn't we?
We did.
So, we had a visit from one of our subscribers, Luke Ledbetter, and it just occurred to me as we were sitting here talking to him, since he knew so much about the cove, was to ask him. I got a moth up my shirt or something in the back. I feel like a moth. Seriously, inside my shirt. It just occurred to me to mention to him about maybe paying him to take us through the cove and narrate a little bit and show us where some things used to be. And he said he would do it, but we wasn't going to pay him. So at one point I said, "I'm going to get you some gas money." He goes, "I'm going to stop the car right here then." So he wouldn't let us give him anything. So we learned a lot about the cove today, things I did not know, we never would have known if he hadn't have told us.
He was really nice, really knowledgeable. Yeah. Funny too.
Yeah, really funny, nice guy, 83 years old. But his grandfather and his uncles and stuff, they all lived in the cove here, and they farmed it. And he had a lot of memories here growing up. So He's from Townsend originally, still lives locally, but very interesting day. Then we went back. We actually made 3 rounds through the cove today. We went back tonight, and just something told me to turn down Hyatt Lane. I was in the back of the truck, and she was driving, and I said, so just told me, said tell her to turn down Hyatt, so I did. Probably 500 yards in. That's as close probably to a black bear as we've ever wanted to be, and
right beside the truck.
We don't ever plan to get that close to one, but he was right, you saw it, he's right there on the side of the road. And so we stopped and videoed him for a minute, and she got a picture. Then we went on, and somebody else came, and he crossed the road and went on his way. So anyway, good day today.
Yeah, it was. We also met another subscriber.
We did.
Joe Richards.
Joe Richards. I was going to say John. Joe Richards.
2 sons, and they had a friend, and they were camping over here as well, and they biked the loop last night.
Yeah.
They like to bike it at night.
I was standing up here in the campsite, and I saw her down in front of the bathrooms talking to some people. I didn't think anything about it. And then I heard Fountain of Youth, and what he had said was something to the effect, I'll let you tell it.
I don't remember exactly something about, you know.
Basically, I needed to drink a lot more of it. And he had watched our we knew then he had watched our St. Augustine video. So he just walked right up to her and said something about that I needed to drink. I can't remember exactly what you told me you said.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's something about drinking the water there at Fountain of Youth, but yeah.
And, you know, he's not wrong. So,
but he's real nice, real polite, and has watched us, he said, from the beginning. So we appreciate that.
Yes. So this trip so far, we have met 8 subscribers. I don't think we've met 8 total up until this time.
I know.
Well, yeah, maybe spread out. But as far as just having people recognize us and stuff like that here in the campground, it's really neat. It really is. I mean, we're not anything special. Pam and Roy, right over here next to us, they were very sweet and gave us a gift certificate to the trailhead. They know we like the trailhead. They didn't have to do that. We went over tonight and thanked them, and he told us, he said they watch us every night. So I don't know if there's just not much on TV or if we really are, you know, fun to watch, but we appreciate people like that.
Yes, we do.
Just really down to earth people, and just enjoy talking with them. They're heading out tomorrow. We're going to say goodbye to them before they do. But anyway, got another big day tomorrow. We're going to try to see some things in the cove tomorrow.
Yeah. Pay for our parking pass and parking.
Pay for our parking pass. We haven't had to buy one yet because we haven't parked anywhere a long time yet. But we usually take one day and we do that. So we'll do that tomorrow. So signing off tonight. So stay with us. More to come. All right. So we're back in the campground now, and it's lunchtime, and we're going to do something we've never done before. That's that we're going to go down to the Cades Cove Campground store and get us some lunch. We have only gotten ice cream there and souvenirs and some chocolate milks. We've never actually tried their food. I think I maybe got a breakfast biscuit a time or two, but they got...
I think that was actually when the old store too. Like where they got the bikes now, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. But they actually have hamburgers, hot dogs, nachos, pizza, barbecue sandwich. So we're going to go down there, and I'm sure it's not going to be gourmet or anything like that, but we're going to see if it's any good or if it's worth stopping or considering if you're coming to Cades Cove. So we're going to go down there. Alright, so this is a path from our campsite to the store, pretty much a straight shot. That is the store you see down there. And I will say that this is the nicest and by far the most extensive campground store I've ever been in. I don't know of any other campground that's got a store like this. I mean, there's a few that's got some small supplies. What was you going to say?
I would say it's really nice.
You can get souvenirs here. Yeah, food items. Now, I will say their firewood has jumped significantly. What was it now, about $10 a bundle? Yeah. You can get it in town for about 7 or 8. So, but they're going to stick it to you just a little bit because you are 8 miles from the nearest town. And they know people would rather just walk down there and pay it than have to go to town. So they pretty much will have whatever you forgot. I'm going to show you a little bit of the inside of the store. I have done that on another review, but we're going to do it again now. As you can see, the campground store is a popular place. So a lot of people who are not camping stop here as well just to get a refreshment or something as they go through the cove. And that's kind of why I'm going to do it. We're going to actually do a little, I don't know if you call this a restaurant review or what, but that's why we're going to try the food, just to let you know if you should grab something in town before you get here, or if the food's good enough to where you could call it a decent lunch. What would be kind of cool if they did, if they had like fried chicken and did picnic baskets up.
Do it, yeah.
That would be something high in demand right here, you would think, or sandwiches, yeah. but I'll show you the menu once we get in. We'll see what all they actually do have. Now over here to the left is now the bicycle rental. That used to be where the old store was located. When we first started camping here, that's where the old store was. And actually this was the bicycle rental, but I think they extended and added on to this.
Yeah, they've made it bigger.
In the back there's a little seating area, like a little amphitheater where they have programs and even I think worship services on Sunday. So over here is now the souvenir store. They got outside vending machines, ice cream. They're known for their ice cream here. Let me give you some prices right quick. Alright, as you can see, their prices are a tad high. 7-pound bag of ice, almost $5, that's high. So we're going to run into Townsend here in a little bit anyway, and we're just going to get our ice there. And here's the famous soft serve ice cream. They're open 9 to 5. But we're not here for souvenirs or shirts today, we're here for food. So we're going to get in line because there always is one. We also have the pretzels. So right here's the menu. Pizza, pepperoni pizza, hot dogs, hamburgers, cheeseburgers, chili. Again, they got a lot of little snack items. One thing I'm going to point out here is that a lot of their food items tend to not be priced at all, which is a pain because you have to go ask them how much it is for you to decide if you want to pay it. And I didn't find anything in the food section with prices on it. I don't know if you have or not. T-shirts are priced, things like that, candles and stuff. But even the chocolate milks we bought, the chocolate milks are reasonably priced for Mayfield milk. It's about like what you pay in half. I think they were $1.99 a piece. Is that right? Yeah. That's probably about what you pay for Mayfield in town, but other stuff tends to be a little high, and I couldn't find prices on anything back in the street.
When you say small, what are you saying? Oh, no, I'm sorry. You said two small ones. You said one of them belongs to
Chauncey was going to get some crickets here, but she couldn't decide if she wanted the sour cream and onion or the, what is that, salt and vinegar. Have you made your mind up yet?
No, I'm still thinking about it.
You ought to hear her chomp on them crickets. Alright, here are your condiments for your burger. You got mustard, ketchup, more mustard, mayonnaise, ranch dressing, looks like, sweet relish. They even got Parmesan cheese for your pizza and red pepper, crushed red pepper for pizza. They thought of everything, looks like. Alright, so we're back up here at the campsite now. We have our hamburger and cheeseburger. Your hamburger's a lot thicker than my cheeseburger. That's probably because you got
Some vegetables.
some stuff on it, but we're going to slice up one of Mr. Ledbetter's tomatoes here.
Yeah,
Hopefully without slicing our finger in the process. Alright, so here is the cheeseburger. I actually have the
I can't get the cheese.
excess stuff in my pocket here. Mayonnaise. So I'm going to try this out. Alright, and underneath there I got cheese and pickles on that. So gonna have the mayonnaise on the bottom bun, it looks like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just put it wherever.
That's
You
all right.
want your tomato? Or are you going to eat
Yes,
that
I
separate?
do want my tomato. No, I'm not gonna eat it separate. Well, that's gonna be tough.
Be a thick one.
Alright. So let us know the verdict of the Cades Cove Campground Store burgers.
I think it's very good. I think it would be worth a stop to get one.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so we just finished up our lunch here at our campsite from the hamburger and cheeseburger that we bought down at the camp store. So, you didn't know you was going to get a restaurant review in this campground video, but go ahead and tell us what you. That's really all we got. We didn't get. They didn't even have fries, I don't think. So.
No, you could have got like a big pretzel or like nachos, but that would just been something extra.
Yeah.
But I got just a regular hamburger, and it come with lettuce, tomato, and pickles. And I added one of Mr. Ledbetter's tomatoes on it.
Yeah, because you forgot that he had given us tomatoes.
Yeah, his was much better. And then anything that you want, like mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard, relish, any of that's on the side. You get that yourself and put it on yourself. I thought my burger was really good. I mean, they don't fry it up right there in front of you. They're pre-made and they run them through the little heater thing. I don't know what exactly it does. But it was good. I mean, for something from a camp store, you know, for a burger, yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah. Yeah, my suggestion there would be if you're leaving Cades Cove, if you're going to be driving back across the mountain to Cherokee, go to BJ's. If you're going to be driving back into Townsend, go to the Burger Master. But if you're getting ready to go into the cove and you just want to grab a quick bite, or you just want to grab something and go over to the picnic area, which is right behind the store, it's fine. It's really good. I'll tell you what, if you want to compare the quality, it's like what you would get if you're at a Little League ball game and you go up to the concession stand and get a burger. It's basically, wouldn't you say, it's pretty much identical to what you're going to get there in quality. So, so yeah, it's fine. We were just kind of looking for something light today. We were going to grill hot dogs tonight, and apparently I did not pack the hot dogs in the cooler before we left, so we're going to Townsend now. I like to roast weenies over a fire on my last night camping, and we're going to go over to Townsend to the IGA now, and we're going to get a pack of ballparks, probably grab maybe a milkshake from the Burger Master, and then come back tonight and roast some weenies. That's why I didn't try a hot dog down there. So we're going to run over to Townsend now. I'm sure we're going to have messages coming in. We haven't had cell service since we've been here Friday morning, so that's been so nice. So if we haven't answered y'all's video, well, we'll have them answered by the time y'all see this video, but we've not been ignoring anybody. We're just not hearing from anybody right now. So that's been kind of nice, to be honest with you.
Just quiet.
Yes, quiet. So we're going to head on over to Townsend now, but yeah, the Campground store burger, decent. I'm sure the hot dog will probably be the same. So yeah, it's fine. Take the edge off anyway if you're hungry. So definitely give it a stop. Well, hey everybody, this is the last night of our camping trip, and I know when we camped at Mile High, many of you look a lot smaller than me. Are you sitting too far back?
No, I'm not even with you.
Okay, you just look like you're further back. I know when we were at Mile High, a lot of you enjoyed our last night where we just kind of sat down and talked and shared a little bit about our trip. So we want to do something a little similar to that tonight. So this time we camped for 3 nights in a very scenic area. We got to go and see a lot of historic structures from where we are, and also beautiful mountains and some cemeteries even. So won't you start off by saying about your experience this weekend?
Well, we've had beautiful weather, so I'm thankful for that. We've had delicious food.
Talk a little louder. I'm not sure if it's picking up. We got a lantern in the background. It makes a lot of noise. It's kind of.
I'm just trying to be a little quiet because everybody else around us is gone to bed.
Yeah, they're not going to hear.
But it's been an all-around good trip. You know, like I said, good weather. Got to meet several of our subscribers.
I think we've met, what, 9 this weekend.
So really, really nice. Just had a good time. Like I said, you know, weather's been good, food's been good. No complaints.
Okay. So anything that you want to share about this trip that maybe was unique or stood out to you or anything like that? Didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
Obviously, I don't know what to say.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, just we got to see several. This wasn't a good bear sighting trip. We've been camping here before where sometimes we see 15 or 20. I think we saw maybe 3 this time, but the one that we did see was certainly probably as closer than I would want to be to a bear. Wasn't planned. We didn't approach it. He was just there. As we were driving down the dirt road, he was there on the side of the road. I was in the back of the pickup. She was driving, so we were able to get really good shots of him, and then we went on, and then he crossed. So that was that. But just one of the things that we're in an area where, and in the other video, there's actually going to be 2 other videos separate from this one, about our drive through this area. One we did ourselves, and the other where Mr. Ledbetter, who grew up here, went with us. So one of the things that strikes me, he was pointing out things that we never knew before, things that used to be there that he remembered himself that the average visitor today would never know about. I'm talking cabins, churches, schools. There are still some cabins left around here, but not near what it used to be. There used to be a population in this area of over 600 people. So there was a lot more homes than what still exists. But today we got to go to another cemetery. And I say got to go because cemeteries are historic, even though they're sad in a way. They tell a story. So I just want to maybe share something that, and you can feel free to interject anytime you want to. But we were in a cemetery today that we've driven by. Had no idea it was just a few yards back into the woods up on the hill, but it is. And I think the newest gravestone in that cemetery was 1920. So basically nobody's been buried there for over 100 years. Now since the most recent burial, and some of them go back way further than that. If you read the story of this area, one of the things that stands out to me is it's interesting to see the way people lived. But make no mistake about it, this was a hard existence at one time. Back in the 1800s when people settled here, this was not, we drive through here and we see the scenery and we think, oh, how beautiful, and it is, but this was not an easy existence for a lot of people. They lived here, they built their homes here, they raised their families here, they fed themselves off the land here, they hunted, they raised their crops, and they lived their lives and they passed away. And that's why the cemeteries are here. They tell a story. One of the things, and we were talking about this, was the high rate of infant mortality then, and young children, and just the young ages. And I'm assuming that's a combination of a lot of things. Maybe a lack of the medical advancements that we have now, maybe the lack of access to that. Also just things like, you put up wire fences and things like that, you get cut by a nail or something, and you develop, tetanus, and things like that happen. And not to mention maybe wild animals, and just the overall lack of the things we enjoy today and don't think twice about it. A lot of times they didn't have that. And there were mothers who died in childbirth. There were children who didn't make it along. And, to me, those cemeteries tell a story. Not just there was somebody here by this name who was born on this date and passed away on this date, but these were human beings who lived just like we're living. And, the one thing the Bible says is that, you say, why do you always have to talk? Because, look, life and death, that's the reality for all of us. If you're watching this right now, you're alive. But we all have one thing in common, and that's if time continues on and the Lord doesn't come, we all have an appointment with death. And one of the things that is on my heart is for anybody who watches us to be challenged to prepare for that, because that is an event, according to the book of Ecclesiastes, that's an event that all of us have to face. It's common to all of us, and some of us face it sooner than others, but nobody's going to escape it. The death rate is still 100%, and when I walk through those cemeteries, I have a lot of respect for those people. Many of them served our country, and then and many of them settled here, and they worked hard. They worked the land. They didn't know, a lot of them lived their whole lives, didn't know what a vacation was. But this is where they lived. This is where they raised their families. They had to fight the elements, the winters here. They had to find ways to stay warm. And they lived their lives here. And now the only thing left of them is basically a structure in their memory or a headstone. And one of the headstones I saw today, I believe it was at the Primitive Baptist Church.
Which one? Oh yeah, the one that changed.
Right there at the end. It had an inscription on it. It was a newer headstone. I think that was somebody who maybe passed away much more recently. But you talk about something to have on your headstone. It said, "My chains are gone. I've been set free." Now, I don't know who that person was, but there's only one way you can really say that, and that's through a relationship with Jesus Christ. There's no, you can't face death with that mentality without knowing Him. I would just go out on a limb and say that was a person who was very God-fearing and knew Christ, because that's the only way you could ever make that statement. What a thing to have on your tombstone. My chains are gone, I've been set free. And that immediately, I think I made reference to it in the other video, it reminded me of a scripture, and I don't think I quoted it right, but I came back and looked it up. And it was Romans chapter 7, where Paul asked a question. He said, who shall deliver me from this body of death? And that's what our bodies are. They're bodies of death. I'm 54 years old, and although I've been blessed to have relatively good health, I overcame cancer 20-some years ago by the grace of God, very advanced cancer. I consider myself very blessed, but at the same time, I feel the effects of being 54 sometimes. I don't move quite like I used to. Can't do some of the things I used to once could do. And, you know, we still go on hikes. I do very well with that, but I can tell there's things that, you know, I could used to do better than I can do now. And what that is, that's a body of death. That's a body that, because of the curse of sin in this world, our bodies decline. They grow old, they break down, and ultimately they pass away. And like I say, that's going to happen to all of us. And every person who ever lived in this cove, that's what's happened to them. And what was life all about if that's the end? And I beg you to ponder this and think about it. If we only have one existence here, as so many believe, what's the point of it all? What's the meaning of life? Listen, without a creator and without God, there is none. We're a cosmic accident. I don't believe that. Do you? I don't believe we're an accident. I believe we were put here. Man was created in the image of God. Man lost that image when he fell. He transgressed. Adam transgressed in the Garden of Eden. The curse of sin came on this world. Death was pronounced. The Bible says in Romans chapter 5 that by one man sin entered into the world, and death by sin, for all have sinned. So we know that every person is a sinner. Adam brought sin into the world and death, and every person after him has inherited a sin nature, according to Scripture. I know some people don't believe that. Some people believe that we're not individually born with a sin nature. Well, then why is it every single person who's ever lived has sinned other than Christ? We do have a sin nature that we did inherit from Adam, and because of that curse of sin, we have death. Things die. Things decay. Second law of thermodynamics tells us that basically everything tends towards disorder or destruction. Things don't get better over time, they get worse. Same with our bodies. So one of the things when I'm walking through those cemeteries that strikes me is just the fact that this is an event that's going to happen to all of us at some point. We don't like to think about it. But what's the meaning of life? What does it matter how hard you work, what you accumulate, if when your time comes to pass away, that's it. Again, I'll go back to the question Paul asked, and I'm going to give you another question asked in the Old Testament. Paul said, who shall deliver me from this body of death? That's the scripture I thought of when I saw that on the tombstone. My chains are gone, I've been set free. That's what this body is. It's a body that's bound by sin, the chains of sin. And the only freedom from that is when we pass away and go to be with the Lord. And the only way we go to be with the Lord is by receiving Christ and what he did for us and his sacrifice on the cross for us. He shed his blood for our sins. That was the payment for our crimes against God, is what Christ did for us. This is not a matter of whether you believe like us or not. I'm simply telling you what God says in his word, that we are fallen creatures and he made a way of reconciliation, and that's through Jesus Christ. That's the only way anybody can make that statement, that at death their chains are gone, they've been set free. That's what Paul said. When Paul was getting ready to leave this world, he said, I fought a good fight, I've kept the faith, there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness. Now, that's the way you leave here. Can you imagine having that on your tombstone? What a great thing to have. Mm-hmm. My chains are gone, I've been set free. See, for the Christian, that's our hope. This for the Christian, for the saved person, this life, no matter what you're going through, is as bad as it's ever going to get. For the lost person, this life is as good as it's ever going to get. That's why I'm not one of these people. I know it's something that we say all the time, but we always say when somebody dies, rest in peace. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you the truth of the matter. Every person who's ever passed away, their body is resting in peace. But their body's not what matters at that point, it's their soul. And only those who are in Christ are at peace. And that's why I say what I say. If a person is lost and doesn't know Jesus Christ as their Savior, this life is the only good life they're ever going to have. And in eternity, there's not going to be peace. There's not going to be. There's going to be eternal separation from God and suffering. On the other hand, the only people who are resting in peace are saved people. People who know Christ and who have received the provision that He made. Then there's another passage in the book of Job. I was reminded of this when Job asked a question way, way back before Christ even came to the earth. He said, "Yea, man dieth and wasteth away. Yea, man giveth up the ghost, and where is he?" So Job even asked a question that everybody out here who's watching this should ask. When a man gives up the ghost, when he breathes his last, when that last breath comes out of our lungs, where are we then? Now, I know there's a lot of teachings on that, and none of those teachings matter. My teaching don't matter. No other religion's teaching matters. What does the Bible say? And that's all that matters. That's God's authority. That's God's word. And that's a question I would ask each and every one of you to ask. When my time comes and I give up the ghost, I breathe my last, where am I? Where will I be then? You're going to be somewhere. You've got one of two options. And what determines that hinges on what you do while you have breath in your body with the Lord Jesus Christ, who died for you and gave Himself a ransom for all. And the Bible says in 1 Timothy chapter 2, you know, I don't mean to ruffle any feathers right now, but I'm going to give you the truth. If it does, it does. One of the churches we went in today, the Primitive Baptist Church, I mentioned that one of their differences between them and the other two churches is that they are Calvinists. The Calvinist believes that Jesus did not die for everybody. The Bible says that He did. The Bible says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever," there's no limitation there. God did not pre-select people before they were born to be saved and to be lost. That's not the God of the Bible. The God of the Bible sent His Son to die for all. The Bible says in Romans chapter 5, verse 8, that God commendeth His love toward us, and that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. So we know from Scripture that Christ died for every human being in this world. And the invitation is to come and receive Him and believe on Him. If you do that, you're going to be able to say one day, "My chains are gone, I've been set free." And if you don't, you won't be able to say that. So I just want to leave you with that tonight. A lot of people have asked me to do some Bible studies and some preaching. I haven't really done that in any of these videos yet, but we're going to give the gospel here and there. We're going to do that. So do you have anything?
No, very nicely said.
Okay. Very longly said. I know that took a while to say it, but anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this camping adventure. We love camping. We love to spend time out in nature like this. You can hear the crickets chirping right now. It's just peaceful. So, but anyway, the real peace in this life comes not from a campground, but from the gift of God through Christ Jesus. So, thank y'all for watching tonight, and have a blessed evening.